Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to present here the CT status. And I think, and thanks for my indication about myself. So I think I can continue now and give a short introduction. Also, what I want to say here, something. So I will give a short introduction, then the release status, and then some information on release 18 issues, and then interaction with other SDOs, and a short summary. So CT, we are getting, we have seen the presentation from SA and RAN, and CT mainly gets the requirements, what we need to do from the different SA working groups. So we get these requirements from all of the working groups, which we have seen in the previous presentation from Pune. And we also get some of the requirements based on interactions with RAN. In CT, we have currently 4 working groups. We have CT1, which is focusing on the interface between the UE and the core network. Then we have CT3, which has the which takes care on the interfaces between the core network and external networks, and also takes care on the policy control functionalities in the 3P network. Then we have CT4. CT4 is responsible for all the protocols and interfaces within the core network, and also all the roaming interfaces. CT6 is the smallest of our groups, and CT6 takes care of the interface within the UE, especially the interface towards the UICC. And CT6 also has a close relationship with TCSCP. Then here just an overview of the TSG CT officials, all elected or re-elected at the plenary in March this year. Coming to the release status. So you see in 2009 we had started with 4G. 2015 we continued with 4G advanced. In 2020 we had 5G. And now we are working on the first 5G advanced release, which is release 18, as we have heard already. Coming to the detailed status of the work planning, I think you have seen this figure now in RAN and SA presentations. So we are here now, the current status is between TSG 101 and 102. So I will just give some indications what we are here. So the intention is to complete this work on the stage 3 level in March next year. So we are more or less in the middle of the stage 3 work. And in CT we have also 2 freeze states. One is a stage 3 freeze, and the second is the open API freeze. As a reminder, in 5G we have started to have open APIs, and the open APIs contain also some codings. And for the codings, we have a freeze state, a quarter, one plenary cycle after the stage 3 freeze, to have the possibility to have different alignments between all the working groups to make sure that we are synced up between all these groups. Then here is just an indication on the what CT is working on. As you know, we are doing enhancements of functionalities by CRs, and CRs are done to specifications which were already frozen, so where we had already a version in the release before. And the number of these kind of CRs gives always an indication how much we are working on the different releases. So you see here currently in plenary number 101, the majority of the work was on release 18 topics. And we still have some maintenance to do for release 17 and much less than for release 16 and nearly nothing for release 15 anymore. This means we are doing maintenance to make sure that if we identify an error, we are always checking from which release we have to start these corrections at the first place. And on this slide, we are working currently on release 18. So we have a number of work items. So I do not intend to mention all of them. I just want to give some highlights later on. But we have also 6 study items in release 18 in CT. 2 of them in the CT6 area were already finished beginning of the year. So I will not say much about it. And 2 were finished in this plenary. And 2 are still ongoing. This is, and all these other work items were based or triggered by work in SA and RAN. And some of the work items were also triggered within CT to make some kind of improvements on the different topics for the service-based interfaces or the Northband interfaces, for example. And then also some improvements in the mission-critical area. So this is the second part of the slides. So I've put these work items we are working on the different, on 2 slides to make it more visible. So more or less 75% of the work items are within the time schedule and 25% were below the time schedule. But this is also a presentation from the CT plenary in September. So, but we had already a meeting in October, and the next meeting, working group meeting, will be next week. And on all of these work items where we have currently less progress or low progress, we have a number of contributions already submitted for next week. So if we are, so at the end of the next week, we will have here a much better progress also on those work items which were a little bit behind the schedule in September. Coming to release 18, I just want to highlight some issues. Let's start with the study items. As I mentioned, we had completed 2 study items at the last plenary. One was a study regarding a new protocol developed by IETF called QUIC, a UDP-based multiplexed and secure transport protocol. In CT4 groups, this was analyzed, and the outcome of this was more or less that it's not worth to introduce this new protocol. It would introduce a lot of effort also for operators to introduce all these things. So the study proposes and agreed that we should stick to the TCP transport layer, also in 5G advanced, and not move too quick. And the second study item which was completed was a study on NRF API enhancements to avoid signaling and storing of redundant data. This was completed, and in the October meeting, we have already agreed a new work item for release 18 to implement the agreements of the study item in the normative TSs. And there are two studies ongoing. One is a study on IMS disaster and prevention and restoration enhancements. So this is an indication that CT is also working in some areas on restoration procedures. They are also part of the CT work. And here also CT holds also stage 2 work. And here on this we are simply trying to figure out these, to analyze the IMS, some IMS issues for 5G in the IMS network. And then we have these the study ongoing on the reducing of information exposure over SPI. This work item was more or less triggered by an LS from GSMA, asking us for possibilities to prevent consumer NFs from receiving more data than they require. So this is also a security issue that maybe there is a risk that nodes get more information they need for, and this is also something which should be avoided, as usually, especially from SA3, there comes usually this indication that we should avoid sending information which are not needed to other nodes which might be outside of the network for security reasons, and also provide more subscription information for them, because they are also leading some could do some analysis based on this when it's not really needed for it. Coming to one of the features which I would like to highlight, one is the XRM feature. Here, this is the architecture for the XR and media services. So it was noted that blind forwarding node of network cannot ensure the high experience of requirements for different XM services. So the issue in CT was then to enhance the interfaces and the PDU set-based handling and network exposure and UE power saving issues. And here we have to take care on these different issues which we need to cover here, especially the specific network slice information, the network information exposure, the PDU set-based cross-handling. And here we also take care how to do some kind of UE power savings. The stage 2 issues were done in the SA, and here in CT we have done the related stage 3 realizations, how this feature work in detail. Coming to the next issue, which I would like to highlight, this is the CDR aspects of the enhancements for 5G UE policy. And here the topics which we are usually have to take care was enables the UE to select the network slice for application service based on the USP policy delivered by the network side to have the, and then for the consumer markets, there are a huge number of apps, and it's very difficult to manage them on traffic ID. And operators also need another type of traffic description to make USP more efficient to manage. And traffic categories which were specified by GSM can be one of the directions to solve the problems. And here the key issues for CT is to enhance the connection capabilities, which is done in CT1 specification based on the traffic categories specified by GSMA, but also another enhancements to make it the possibility to make it operator specific, so to introduce also the possibility to have specific operator capability identifiers. And the next feature I would like to highlight is the next generation real-time communication. Here it's the issue is to extend the IMS network to support data channels and AR communication. And here in CT work was to specify the detailed IMS data channels, update the usage of the ZIP protocol and SDP protocol to support these data channels, define the media function services, define the application server services, and also updates NRF service to support the new DSCF and also the MF service registration and discovery. And also enhancements for the SC interface and to update the HH services and the SH interface to support data channel service profile. And here's just a small figure to illustrate about the different interfaces. I will skip going in detail. Then we have also the NR RedCap, was also mentioned by Wan Shi earlier. So here we had also different scenarios which shows that RedCap is used more and more. And in GSMA, there was an analysis that the number of RedCap UEs will double within the next 10 years, within the next decade. So this gives us the indications that we should do something on this topic here. And so here on the right side, you see here just some principles on regarding the RedCap. So the AMF obtains the new RedCap capabilities from the RAN. The AMF identifies then the RedCap type and obtains subscription from the UDM. And then the AMF informs the SMF. The SMF interacts with the PCF, and the SMF also interacts with the charging function. And based on this, the SMF then triggers the configuration of the user plane in the UPF according to the subscription, the policy, and the charging. And then we are coming to the artificial intelligence and machine learning. One point here is the ENA. So the enablers for the network optimization. Here we are currently in phase 3. So just as a reminder, so we have these NWDF, and the NWDF collects information from all connected nodes. And this information is then stored in the NWF, and then this NWDF then uses information for different purposes. I just want to highlight here too the a packet flow description prediction. And here the, for example, the application, if the IF does not update the initial PFD in time or does not update it anymore, then WF can then collect the traffic characteristics information from the UPF and the initial PFD from the PFDF, and then to predict the current PFD. And this is just, and also the federation learning, whereas NWF contains MTF leverage federated learning to train the machine learning model across multiple decentralized entities. So these are just two examples. And second work item in this area is system support for artificial intelligence and machine learning. And here we have these scenarios to support of application layer AMLL to distribution transfer and identify traffic characteristics for the AML model and the training for various applications. And in CT, the main work was here on the monitoring of network resources utilized to support the application and exposure of the 5GC information to authorize third parties for application AM operations, enhancements of external parameters provisioning in the 5G core network to assist the application of AML operations, and then enhancements in 5GC to enable applications and enhancements of the quality of service. And then the next one, which I would like to highlight, is the personal IoT network feature. And here we have three types of personal IoT devices: communication, gateway, and management capabilities. And in CT, we have then the the work to do these to support the communication directly or via gateways, and then to provide the policy and parameter provisionings for the personal IoT network, and the UE policy control service to support USP enhancements for the PIN, the UDM to support PIN, UDM enhancements to support PIN subscriptions, for example, and updates of the SMF to anchoring the PDU sessions of the PGs and of the gateways and the management capability servers. And then updates on the UPF to support this kind of traffic. And interaction with other SDOs. So based on, since CT is working on the different protocols, so we are also using protocols from other SDOs. For example, from IETF, as we have said earlier, we are using first these, in 5G, we are using the HTTP, which was the protocol which is developed by IETF. And we also need, and due to the fact that we are using some protocols, so that we also need to do some registrations inside IETF. One is this, for example, so which needs to be done by IANA, which is part of IETF. And here we need to register, for example, different media types. To get an overview of all this, we have also created on the three website a web page what kind of requests we have done to IANA to trace these possibilities. And then another organization where we are also interacting with is with IEEE, the Registration Authority Committee. And here, for example, we had in release 18 the issue that we need a new listener type for a new protocol set. This was identified by CT1, and CT1 has already done a rated request. This was the second request we had with regard to IEEE. And due to the fact that it was very good regarding how we have done these IANA tracing on the web page, we agreed to do the same with IEEE, so that we have a clear reference what we have up to now requested from them and the status what we have done, so that we always can give an indication if someone asks us, what are you intending to do, what you are requesting from us, we can always reference these pages, and then everybody knows that this request comes really from 3GP and that we are taking care of this. And that we are also making sure that we have a well-coordinated request to these. And both pages are currently accessible from the CT1 homepage on the 3GP server. This may change in near future because 3GP is currently working on a new design of this web page. And regarding IETF, we have, for example, in each IETF meeting, we have a side meeting, which is held in each IETF meeting. Usually it's on the first day during a lunch break. And usually there, the CT chair, the IETF license manager from IETF, and some ISG members, IB members, some working group chairs, and a number of delegates taking part in this one. And here we are discussing then the different license statements which are sent from IETF to 3GP and from 3GP to IETF. And we're also discussing new references of documents by 3GP. As I said, we are using IETF as a baseline, and sometimes in some protocols we are using also, when we noted that IETF is working on the protocol enhancements which we are also using, then we have references in a draft version, and then this is also tracked during this meeting and also by the IETF license manager and CT chair, so myself. So I'm working close together with the IETF license manager to track this. And then we had also some discussion regarding necessary actions which we need to take care on to follow on and improve the cooperation. One issue, for example, was since the last IETF meeting, there was a question raised by some IETF delegates, what is the status of artificial intelligence and machine learning in 3GP? I forward this question to the rapporteurs within 3GP who are working on this topic, and the outcome is that we will have at the currently ongoing IETF meeting a presentation from the 3GP rapporteurs in a side meeting to show IETF guys who are interested what 3GP is doing on this topic. And this slide is an overview of SA, RAN, and CT work. If you're interested in this, this session will be held on Thursday, the 9th November at 1900 CET or 7 p.m. CET. Coming to the summary. So CT groups work on a protocol definition related to you, to the UI and equipments, and shall be followed by the product implementation to avoid interoperability problems. CT main focus is currently on release 18. This is an except from the work items agreed in stage 2, and there are also new independent sits and widths in CT, as I said earlier. So overall, you have seen the CT work progress on release 18. Work items are within the time frame, and on some issues in CT working, we have asked clarification from SA working groups. So there are some license statements were sent from CT working groups to SA working groups, and we are expecting the answers in the next meeting. And the status of all these related work items can be derived from the work plan in detail. In this slide, I have just shown the high-level overview. Regarding release 19 is currently not discussed in CT. This is mainly a discussion currently in RAN and SA. They are doing the prioritization, and what we have already seen from in the presentation from Pune and Wanshi. And regarding 6G timelines, there was a discussion at the last CT plenary, as it was also done in RAN and SA. And we expect a new discussion on this in the next plenary. And I think the background for this discussion was already given by Pune and Wanshi. So I do not want to go in more detail on this. And then I would like to thank you. And if you have any questions, I hope we have time for them. This completes my presentation. Thank you.